Welcome, everyone. We are going to begin our board meeting this evening, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have any students in the audience that wish to kick that off for us? Come on up. We heard you back there. Thank you, students. For our roll call this evening, we have Tanya online with us via Zoom. Mrs. Grimm is out this evening. And am I missing anyone else? I don't think so. The rest of us are present. We have our executive session announcement. We have a little bit of a change to what's published online. We're going to have a brief meeting after this meeting to discuss personnel, but what you see online is prior information. So with that, we're moving on to 3.1. Dr. Finnerty?
At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Steve Ansbach, who is our Director of Athletics and Co-Curricular Activities, to the podium to talk a little bit about the Pioneer Athletic Conference Sportsman Award.
Board, thank you for having us tonight. We're really excited. We have a lot of our students here, 11 students, to be recognized for winning the Sportsmanship Award for the Pioneer Athletic Conference for the 2023-24 school year. We appreciate you bringing us up here because it's a testament to our students, to our coaches, to our athletic staff, and to our parents. This is the 7th year in a row we've won this award. So obviously we're doing the little things right, which is very important to us. And as a student athlete, we talk about it a lot. It's student before athlete, and we hope that what you learn through interscholastic athletics help you be successful in life. So we got a lot of kids that they're going to come up here in a minute, very respectful. They treat their teammates with respect. They treat the locker rooms with respect. They treat opposing teams when they come here with respect. Our athletic staff does a great job of welcoming teams when they come here. And the Sportsmanship Award is voted by coaches of other programs for respective sports. So we cannot vote on Pottsgrove to win the award. Other coaches vote on our team. So 7 years in a row, 8 out of the last 9. I think we're doing something right, and that's a credit to our team. So I'd like to bring up 3 students to give you 3 examples just recently of some of the little things we do that separates us from a sportsmanship piece. Julia Prendel, Regan Roeder, and Marley Flannery. Can you come up here for a second? So Julia is going to go first. Julia is one of our cross-country members. She's going to tell you a little story of what happened at our cross-country meet versus Pottstown this year.
So we were at Pottstown for our meet. We were going against Phoenixville and Pottstown, and we had already all finished our meet, and we were just sitting there, of course, we were tired. But we noticed that one girl on the Pottstown team was still running, so we all decided to, as a team, collectively go over and cheer her on and run with her all the way to the finish until she was finished. And it, honestly, for me, it felt like we really helped encourage her to keep running and keep going.
Good. Thank you, Julia. We also have Regan Roeder for the cross-country team.
So one of the traditions we have at Pottsgrove Cross Country is we make a old shoebox into a snack box, and we decorate it with the opposing team members' mascot, colors, etc. And at the end of the meet, we give it to them so that they have a little bit of snacks to eat after their race and take home with them. It just makes me and the rest of the team feel like we're giving something to the other team and welcoming them to Pottsgrove, and it's a really good feeling.
Thank you. And now we have senior cheerleader, Marley Flannery.
Pottsgrove cheerleading displays sportsmanship at every home game by welcoming them with a home candy bag and a hello cheer.
Thank you. And we're also going to bring up Elsa Lucas Cecilia Olak, Robin Rizzatello, Alexis Kummer, Gabby Valero, Brandon McGinley, Mason Craigley, and Cameron Waller, members of our football program, cheerleading program, and cross country. Many of our teams are competing tonight, so I was fortunate enough to grab 11 of them to be here. And one thing I mentioned, and student athletes, you can come right here to display the banner. We have a lot of community members and kids that look up to them. I have two of them back there, which are my sons, but they look up to these athletes every day. So the respect that they show on a daily basis is we're grateful for that. So student athletes, thank you. Brandon, hang that up. Hold that, flip that. There you go.
Congratulations, everybody. That is just incredible. It matters more than winning. It really does, to win that type of an award, to carry that sort of integrity and character through each of those events. That's outstanding. Thank you for coming and sharing that with us. Okay, we're moving on to public comment 4.1. With regard to any agenda item, is there anyone in the room that wishes to make a public comment? Okay, anyone online? No, thank you. Moving on to 5.1, report of the superintendent.
Good evening. Just one item tonight. You've heard me talk about this before, but there's additional information. So Michaela's Voice. Pennsylvania's Bureau of Special Education promoted this no-cost inclusive programming, and Pottsgrove was selected to participate over the last 2 years at Ringing Rocks West and Lower. Michaela's Voice has published 4 children's books, written and illustrated by kids for other kids about having a friend with a disability. Michaela's Voice inclusion assemblies and books are all outstanding examples of the type of valuable dialogue that should be initiated in every classroom, and the children's capacity for understanding, acceptance, and compassion. The assembly and the books provide background knowledge regarding what it's like to have a disability and serve as a springboard for further discussion. Through these educational focused activities, Michaela's Voice is heard. I'm also lucky enough to have copies of our books. These books were delivered, I believe we had 10 copies delivered to each of our elementary buildings. And as I called her out once before, I'm going to call her out again. The reason that Michaela's Voice came first to Pottsgrove is actually one of our board members. Ms. Anik Ruiz-Brown actually was the person who first connected with this organization and convinced them to take a look at Pottsgrove. And it's been a lovely 2-year relationship so far. So thank you very much. That is all I have this evening.
Thanks, Dr. Finnerty, and thank you, Anik. Moving on to action items 6, the treasurer's report. Looking for a motion and a second to approve these, please.
Motion to approve the report? Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to 6.2.
Go ahead. I'd like to make a motion that we accept 6.2, the amended April and May 2024 Treasurer's Report.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for 6.2. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on to, the motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to 7.1. And with this, we have a bit of a change versus the online agenda. We are removing the high school piece. All other pieces are in play. We need a motion and a second to approve everything that you see here, with exception to the high school piece.
Which one is the high school piece?
So on item 7.1, where it says high school, and then there are 4 positions listed there. Yep. So the musical positions weren't received in time to have correct information, so we're just striking it.
So when we make the motion, do we need to make it without that?
I'm sorry.
The agenda's been edited, so the motion which is being presented is as amended, so you can just make the motion as amended.
All right, I'd like to make the motion that we accept action items personnel 7.1 through 7.7.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with 7.1 as amended through 7.7. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motions pass. Moving on to 8.1. Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept 8.1, the 2024-25 YWCA after-school youth programs. Any questions or comments? Dr. Finnerty, did you want to expand on this at all?
So this is a program, is he still here? Do you want to talk about this, Steve? The YWCA program? So this is a program that Mr. Ansbach helped bring to Pottsgrove. This is not a program that we've run recently. Is this a new program?
It is not. It'll be a new program. We're still working on dates with them and transportation purposes that will be run out of Lower. But we did work with them and Mr. Salchuk to create a program. It'll be a 6-week program with the YWCA. Brand new to Pottsgrove. They do it locally in the community, but they're going to run out of Lower with our students.
Thank you. It looked like a pretty amazing program, so I apologize for having you run back up, but I
No,
thought this is something we don't need
totally,
to talk
totally
about.
fine, and it's a good opportunity for our kids and great information that they'll be able to learn. And so we're looking forward to partnering with them in the
Yeah,
community.
It's incredible that the amount of new things that the administrative team is bringing to the district is just greatly, greatly appreciated. It's exciting. So
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being willing to come up and speak on it. Okay, that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to action items, education.
I'd like to make a motion to, for 9.1, the 2024-25 Feminine Hygiene Product PDE Grant Program.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 9.1. Questions or comments?
If I can just say, this is awesome. It's being a teenage girl is tough enough, but then having to face, being at school without what you need, that's even harder. So I'm really happy about this.
For those of you who served the board, I guess it was 2 years ago, if you remember, one of our student board reps, Lily Garrett, she was actually working hard on this very project for our district. So it's excellent news. I hope she's out there doing well and feeling good about this work, because the state came through to do exactly what she was asking to. So we feel really good about where we're going here.
Thanks very much. So, any other questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 9.2.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept 9.2 through 9.5.
We have a motion and multiple seconds to approve 9.2 through 9.5. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Motions pass. We're moving on to committee items. 10.1, report of the Operations Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you. The committee met on September 10th and had discussed three items. Basically, it did a update on the facilities and the site. We're looking at various improvements, especially I'll mention the football field and the track race. That was the first item. They will bring, or I'm sorry, Casey Blankenbiller will bring plans and renderings for our next meeting in October. The second item is the elementary school locker room renovations. And again, what's going to happen is rather than have a series of small projects, we're going to have one large project, and they're going to use KPN contractors, and then we'll bring a proposal again for our October meeting. The third item is for information, and this one may require a little bit of help. What happens is I've got too many papers. Oh, okay. Future capital planning, and of course this is the PDF that was presented. What was actually presented was a little more detailed graph showing each of our buildings and each major system in it and its age. Because if you read the minutes, it mentions everything should be green. Well, everything is color-coded on that chart. And if the material is new, then it's green. If it's various colors getting back to it's beyond its current life expectancy, then it's red. So right now, what we're looking for is we're going to start planning for Lower Pottsgrove and the middle school. And the middle school has, if you look at it on that chart, an awful lot of red. So we're going to be doing planning on that. And yeah, and so that is a report that will be presented. Oh, one last thing. We have, the district also started a process and submitted, I'm going to read this, to the state for the Public Facilities Improvement Grant, and we are hoping to hear back from the state in this sometime in October. So I don't think you've gotten any results from that yet.
Actually, we did hear back. Right now, to our understanding, all of the grant proposals that were submitted, barring emergency grants, were waitlisted. So they're hoping to have another meeting in October to consider us and all the other school districts that submitted these programs. If you recall, the grant program that we're looking to fund is the window replacement at the middle school. Mm-hmm. So we hope to have some good news in October or November.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
I do, but it's actually be for Dr. Finney. When you say the grant were waitlisted, for meaning that we may still be eligible for them this year, or do we get moved to the top for next year, or are these like a once every 5 year type grant?
So what we got, this is a competitive grant, so not all grants are going to get funded. But what we got is a one-sentence response from the state saying that all grants other than those submitted under the emergency conditions are waitlisted, and that they expect, there was a possibility of having a meeting in October to consider the grants. If not, they would be considered later. So.
Sort of like when they're doing their budget, they just wait. Okay. All right, thank you.
We're yeah. There's no reason to read it as bad news, but for right now,
They're still.
yes.
Got it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Nippert. Tabling?
No,
Okay, we're moving on to 10.2, the Athletics Co-Curricular Community Relations Committee report.
Great, yeah, back again. So we had our athletics, co-curricular, and community relations meeting last week. In that meeting, we had an informational session regarding athletic participation at the high school and middle school. Our participation is on average as it's been over the last 4 years, which we're grateful about, having our students participating in fall sports. We talked about items for our high school cheerleading program. We are a sideline cheerleading program, so we're looking to take the next step and compete in sideline competitions. It's relatively new in our world regarding competitions. So we're looking to compete in a sideline cheer competition this winter. For that, you need a couple items, being spirit wear flags. So our coaches are in the process, or they actually completed the process of getting flags. We're also looking for new tumbling mats. Right now, our cheerleading program tumbles on mats that are shared by our PE program at the high school. They're worn, they're used. Sometimes we share these mats with the local police department when they're doing training. So they were looking for their own mat. So I asked the committee if we can explore these options, not to exceed $3,200 for both mats and spirit wear flags. Once we have those official numbers, we'll share it with the committee, and once we get approval, we'll bring it to a formal meeting. Again, it's out of Market Street money, so what we discussed previously is discussing it at the committee level for approval and then bringing it to the full board. So once we have the official quotes for everything, that'll be provided to the committee, and if everybody's on board, we'll bring it to hopefully the first meeting in October for our cheerleading program. Also discussed senior nights. So senior nights at high school are starting to take on a life of their own. So we have a variety of senior nights that are scheduled. With working with Market Street Sports, we were able to get shirts made for all our fall, winter, and spring sports teams that have our Market Street sponsors on the back. So we're going to be able to provide a shirt to every senior that competes this year on their senior nights. The senior night season does start this Thursday night for boys soccer. If you're around and want to come out, the game starts at 6:45 on the turf. In the co-curricular realm, we last year had all our building principals put in their participation numbers at all levels K through 12. So we were able to take that data, input it, each building, each grade level to see what the participation was, co-curricular participation. One event, there were some buildings where there were students that participated in 12 events, or 12 co-curricular programs throughout the school year. So it was really cool to see, what building was doing what, 1, 2, how many activities our kids were involved in, and then 3, what are some areas that we need to improve on. So, one of them that we discussed with the committee, kindergarten, our participation at the kindergarten level regarding students in co-curricular programs wasn't great. Obviously, there's a couple of reasons to why that is, and also we looked at 6th grade as being one of those grade levels that we could look at doing a better job of getting students out and participating in. Mrs. Ruiz-Brown, she brought up a great point regarding finding these activities. On our website in the high school, we have a list of all the activities and the advisors, but on the website, that's not does not look like that for other buildings. So we're going to look at it once our communication specialist starts. How can we just provide a list of really when they are and who's the advisors of those clubs? It's going to be a little bit of a legwork, but just to see what we're doing in the respective buildings and how do we have access to those programs. So we will look into that moving forward throughout the year and once our communications specialist starts. And then on the community front, very short, but we do have the flu shot clinic coming in partnership with the Giant That'll be in October. We did have our first responder and military appreciation night at our first football game on the 23rd, which was a great turnout. We had youth night. Youth night was a great night with our Future Falcon football and cheerleading programs. We heard a lot of positive feedback from our community regarding that. It was really neat. All the cheerleaders lined up like we typically do, and the Future Falcons run through the tunnel and run out in the field, and we organize it by flag football, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. But one of the really neat things is, so it's organized chaos. So we figure, how do we bring them in and organize them in the best way? And at one point, we had all the kids come together, and our football captains and coaches came and talked to the kids. But then to get them all lined up took about 10 minutes, and everybody's really ready to start. So what we did this year was just line them up by the tunnel, and we had our entire football program come down, coaches and all, and they shook every single kid's hand. And I know a lot of our parents were really taken back because of how excited our kids were that they got to shake, number 11's hand that's going to score a touchdown in the football game. So that was really neat, and it also parlayed to the following day because they had the Future Falcons and cheerleading program had their kickoff weekend at the middle school, and we had our scoreboard. So in partnership with some donations, our booster club, the Future Falcons, the scoreboard's up there, and then that was a huge hit for our program and our community and regarding the partnership that we had. So 2 weeks from now, October 4th, homecoming weekend here. Kicks off with our homecoming bonfire on October 3rd here in the parking lot, and pink out night, and homecoming on October 4th. So it's going to get real and fun here in the coming week. So that concludes my report.
Thanks so much. All right, we're moving on to 10.3, the report of the CIT committee.
I'll be reporting out in lieu of Mr. Voris. The committee meeting started off with Mr. Voris reporting on the benchmarking and intervention data. He shared the process used in the district to collect data, analyze data, and make instructional decisions. The information is collected through 3 benchmark assessment periods during which students take assessments. He mentioned that these assessments are nationally normed. And in addition, when students do not reach proficiency, interventions are designed, implemented, and monitored over time. Therein is the genesis of our MTSS process. He also presented academic data, and it's at this point where there were several questions pertaining to the manner in which this data is reported. So Mr. Voris will be returning to the committee at the next meeting with some additional data for clarification on that. The next point was the science curriculum renewal. Mr. Voris explained the process for renewing the science curriculum during the course of this school year. And during that time, teams will include representation from all grades, buildings, and special education. All recommendations for renewed science curriculum will come back to the committee during the March 2025 meeting. Any resources that are determined as a need through the process will be purchased in the summer of 2025. And lastly, Mr. Voris mentioned that the World Language Department is also participating in curriculum renewal during the school year as well. It's at this point then that I reported out on several technology items. The first thing was giving the committee an update of what we accomplished over the summer. So I'll just quickly run through these. The distribution, collection and distribution of our Chromebooks for the students. We implemented a new app analyst software, which is something we're able to use for monitoring application traffic. We implemented a new classroom application in place of GoGuardian, which is now usable by the middle school and high school teachers. We implemented a content alert system that replaced Gaggle. We implemented a new firewall. We implemented a new facility and event system. We installed a new walkie-talkie system. We are started and are working on consolidating student and staff passwords. We added an app status page to the website for the community to view in real time the uptime of our applications that we more commonly use. We established the innovation labs at the elementary buildings. We also we've started and will continue to audit the condition of our elementary one-to-one devices. Because as I mentioned before, this will be the year where we make the decision as to whether or not we stick with the iPads or if we go to some other device. So more on that throughout this year. We continue to implement the ERP system, which is the system that will consolidate the HR and finance applications. This is a big push more at the district level, the district office level. However, the employees will see the change more in the employee portal, where they will access their data in a one-stop shop sort of fashion, the place where they can get things like their pay stub, tax forms, benefits, etc. Next on the agenda, I talked about consolidating the board meeting technology, which is everything that we see around us. So this will be an ongoing discussion, and one that I continue to have with Mr. Horry about any changes or consolidations we can make to the technology that's sitting in front of you. One of the more immediate changes that will happen is, and again, the committee seemed to be okay with this, but the more immediate change will be to switch out your MacBooks for Chromebooks. These will be larger Chromebooks. They will still have the look and feel of a laptop, but rather than perpetuate the MacBooks, which are actually end of life and not supported anymore, we will switch the board to Chromebooks. And then there were a couple other discussion items, one with regard to the Khan Academy and the PSAT prep. Mr. Lappick discussed the potential use of the Khan Academy to support students in preparation for the PSATs. This would allow for customized practice tests for our students. Mr. Voris will speak to the high school administration and the guidance department, and he and the group will report out on recommendations at a future committee meeting. Next was the Keystone exams and remediation. Mr. Voris shared the plan to not have winter Keystone exams this year. For any student currently in a Keystone exam trigger course, the exams will occur in the spring. For any student that needs to retake a Keystone exam, testing will occur in the spring as well. After-school tutoring, preparation, boot camps, and in-school remediation will be designed and implemented for students needing to retake a Keystone exam. And at that point, we adjourned. Any questions? Thank you.
I have a quick question with regard to the consolidation of the board meeting setup. I know we talked before several times about, do we meet in the auditorium? Do we meet in the district office? I think this is a great time to really dig in and say what makes the most sense, to not have to move things all around and not have to tie up the custodians to get this room ready for students again in the morning. And does anyone have any objective to, where we meet in the building? Maybe we can just give you that free pass to just decide what makes the most sense. I don't care where we meet.
As you guys probably know, I, for some reason, have issues in the district office. I'm allergic to something, I don't know. But I could make it, but I might have to duck out early on occasion. So I did find during the CIT meeting. It's just weird. Sometimes it acts up, sometimes it doesn't. So that would be my only issue, but I definitely don't make a decision based on me. I just wanted to put that out there.
The only consideration, and I raised this to you before, is if we anticipate a large crowd. The football team wins an award, and all the parents and grandparents and everybody wants to come in and see the award. This is the larger space, so I think some accommodation ought to be made in anticipation what the audience is going to be.
Something I would comment on that, though, is that as soon as the award is given, and we always do those first in consideration of the parents at home, we end up with.
Understood, understood. But if you're going to have, I don't want to move, I don't think it's going to be reasonable to say, well, we'll give the award in here, and then we'll all walk back to the district office. Good Lord knows, depending on how long the meeting might be, I might have trouble finding my way. Thank you.
So, Mr. Bittler, maybe you can explain the like value add if we, I'm assuming, I wasn't at the CIT meeting, but I'm assuming you talked about having the tech setup static in a closet and it's not moved and it could remain there and be locked.
We didn't get into specifics
Okay.
because I told the committee that I would come back with options and what things might look like and how we can make adjustments. But that's certainly a consideration, yes, that we could have technology that's kind of just in place all the time and we're not having to constantly move it in and out. If we find another space or, even if we try to move it back to the boardroom in the district office, that the opportunity for having more statically installed technology is easier to do there than in here.
Yeah, just when you were explaining it before, it makes perfect sense, and I know it's something, it's kind of been a Sears wish book item for a couple of years now. I just dated myself by saying that, but.
I totally know what you meant.
I did. But I just, I want to give you the autonomy to move forward with it so that it's not an ongoing thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will come, like I said to the committee, we will come with options and, again, kind of give you a best case scenario.
Sounds great.
Okay.
That was the only question I had. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Bittler. We are already at new business. Dr. Finnerty.
Tomorrow is our first Act 80 early dismissal, so there is a message going out to parents, or did it already go out, Mr. Bittler? Okay. So tomorrow's our first early dismissal, 11:15 at the high school, 11:45 at the middle school, 12:45 at the elementary school. These Act 80s are important because this is an opportunity where we can engage staff on professional development to keep moving forward and to keep improving student outcomes. So thank you.
Thanks. Jay?
Nothing, Tina, thanks.
Anik?
I actually did have, okay, sorry. I actually did have something I wanted to share. I meant to bring this when I reported out from the MCIU board. The MCIU Ed Foundation is having a trivia night. It's November 8th. There's a QR on here, raffles and improv and just like all this other fun stuff. I guess maybe we can have it put on our calendar or something like that, but that's for the Ed Foundation over at the MCIU.
Do you want to hold it up? Mr. Tellis can zoom in on that. Thank you.
Anik, where is that being held?
Yeah.
I see.
Sorry. Fort Washington, PA, 493 South Bethlehem Pike, Fort Washington, PA. Is that, I guess that's like a place, or there's a restaurant there or something, I don't know. Is it, okay. Thank you. Yeah, they probably should have put that on there, but it's just the address.
Thank you for sharing. Dr. Nippert, do you have anything for new business tonight?
No, thank you.
Okay. And Tanya, do you have anything for new business tonight?
Sorry I couldn't be there, but I have nothing tonight.
Okay, well, we miss you. Thank you for zooming in with us. We'll see you next time. You take care. Jim, do you have anything? Nothing. Bill? Nope. Ashley? Nope. Okay, and there's nothing from me. So we're moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment within the room on anything you wish to speak on? Hearing none, how about online? Okay, with that, we're moving on to adjournment. We need a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor? Thanks. Good night, everyone.